Welcome to Mind Myself. I am delighted to be interviewing Maty Hollingsworth today. Welcome to the team, Maty.
Hey, thanks for having me today, Esther. I'm really excited to be meeting with you and sharing a little bit about my loves and passions.
Excellent. Let's start off by telling people a little bit about your background, what you do, why you do it, and why you're passionate about it.
Absolutely. Over the last 20 years, I have studied Reiki energy and have my master's teacher's level certification. I've learned how to read the Akashic records so I can research soul energy and put together a journey of soul profiles, sort of dating where your soul is incepted in the universe and everything you're up to in a light body and in your human experiences and what that means for who you are now. I have been certified in past life regression as well. So diving into these energies that are with us from our past, what I call a past life hangover, and exploring the root causes of things that are still affecting us in our life, that are in our psyche and subconscious from our past that are here now.
Mm.
I've spent my entire life exploring my inner world. If there was a PhD for inner transformation and soul exploration, I would have that PhD for sure.
Excellent.
My biggest excitement, my passion, why I do this, uh, it's tied to my own soul growth, if you will, but is having the ability to alleviate suffering by leveraging the power of self-discovery and how we can transform our lives. There is so much that is rampant in our modern society, a general mundaneness, emotional and mental angst, existential crisis, ongoing energies and results from traumas that we've experienced in this life and sometimes in past lives. And this is the kind of stuff that just, it lights me up to be able to help a client have that aha moment, to put a couple puzzle pieces together and realize they already have what they need within them. Now it's about taking this awareness and balancing the energy and then making transformation happen. And this is my joy, to really just be a part of somebody's journey of self-discovery and putting those puzzle pieces together. It lights me up. I'm a big dork for it. I love it.
I love it. A big dork for it. That's so awesome. I
Yeah.
love
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. I love when people are so passionate about what they do. It's so fabulous.
Yeah, I feel like I nerd out, and I totally accept that about myself and embrace it and love it.
That's fantastic. And Maty, who do you most like to work with? What kind of clients just keep that light going for you?
Uh, I think clients that are curious, they're typically, they've come to that realization that wherever they go, there they are. So they have an awareness around something, they want something to shift in their life. And often clients have the things in society that we're told to get. They've got the family, they've got the job, the home, the car, all that stuff, but something's missing. And it's a disconnection from living in alignment with the soul, to heeding the soul's calling. And there's usually some sort of, I want something to change. They don't quite know what it is, but they know there's a missing feeling of success and satisfaction, however they define that. Because society has its definitions, but it doesn't always work for us as individuals. So I love curious people. Anybody that finds inner travel just as exciting as outward travel, because there is a richly textured world within us when we connect to our soul and we explore what we're up to, what we're made of, what drives us, where our desires come from. These are the things that I love in working with other people. Um, Often they've done some exploration on their own. They might have been part of a community in the 90s or early 2000s that believed in plur, people, love, unity, respect. So just people that are willing to explore, take responsibility for themselves. These are my ideal clients and what I'm magnetically drawing in for sure. That's what I
Mm.
find.
I think it's so great how you describe that. The inner travel is just as exciting as the outer travel. And you being a digital nomad, in a sense, having been for several years now, and who knows where that's going to take you, Boy, you sure know about travel. So inner and outer, fabulous.
Yeah, definitely.
And what are your particular focuses? You've talked in broad strokes about what you do, but do you have particular focuses within that?
You know, it really depends on the service that we're working with. If it's the Akashic Record Soul Journey profiles, the focus is about helping people tap into their soul's purpose, to understand more about why their soul came, why they're here, why the human that they are is an extension, a continuation of their soul's energy that's been ongoing for millennia and millennia in divine timing, just forever. So it's tapping into that purpose, connecting to their drive more. The past life regression work tends to be helping people find answers when they can't find them in their life, when talk therapy hasn't worked or their own soul searching hasn't worked. And it's typically because there's an energy that is present now that began in the past. And by doing a regression, we can go in and work with those energies and make those connections. Because quite often it's the awareness that begets the healing. When you have awareness, you can put the pieces together and you can usually balance the energy within you. And it can shift so much in our emotional and mental world. Sometimes physical ailments can start to fade away. I know I had that experience for myself with hips that were always painful, always sore. I was seeing doctors, massage therapists, acupuncturists. I couldn't figure anything out. And I had a couple past life regression sessions around it where this energy began. And then it was like, aha, I had an experience that was so intense that I've carried it with me. And once I understood that, I could start to make space within myself and forgiveness for myself for carrying this on. And my pain just started to dissipate month after month to where I hardly have any now. I can do pigeon and yoga. That was a joke for years in my life, you know?
Yeah,
Anybody
no,
that knows the pigeon move in yoga,
I
that was huge
yeah,
for me.
I do, and it's not my favorite one, but yeah, I'm getting better at it too. Awesome. Wow.
So
Well,
really for me, it's just tapping into those unknown things. That's the world that I live in, really, is helping people discover themselves and to figure out the things that they haven't been able to figure out before. I love being a part of self-discovery and awareness, if you will, for other people's journey.
such important work, Maddie. I'm thrilled that you're doing this in the world. And yes, hydration is key. How do you start working with a client? What does an initial session look like? Just to give somebody who might be curious about you some initial cues.
If you're interested in a soul journey Akashic reading, these are very in-depth email readings that I do. They range from 30 to 45 pages long of information. It just kind of depends on what your soul's been up to and is ready for you to know about. But I go into the Akashic records and do the research and then compile a reading. So the initial session is really just you hiring me and filling out a client form with basic information like what's your name and where you're born and the time, so I can do the research. And then afterwards, after you've had a chance to go through your reading, jot down any questions you have, any aha moments, we'll schedule a 90-minute coaching call together. And in this session, it's basically a pump up clarity call. I get to tell you in person about my experience in your soul's energy. I get to tell you how amazing you are, make sure that we go over the concepts and information within your reading so that you fully understand it and that you really realize you're a divine being having a human experience. You're amazing just as you are. And there's probably a plethora of innate strengths and gifts that you didn't realize you had that this awareness can help you tap into. So that would be the basics of a soul journey Akashic reading. For a past life regression, this is something that we'll do together online. You can do this on a Google Meet or a Zoom call. And these last 2.5 to 3 hours. The prep ahead of time would be to submit about 5 to 7 questions for at the end of the meeting, we go up into spirit and we'll meet with your main spirit guide. And we'll make sure to go over the learnings and the energies within your past life that we experienced, because you're always going, your guides and your soul are going to take you somewhere that has an energy connection to now. And so by answering these questions ahead of time or submitting these questions ahead of time, you're already thinking about why you want to have this past life regression, what puzzle pieces you'd like to put together in your life. So you're setting an intention. That
Mm.
helps so much with what happens within the session. And we explore your family life, significant moments. We're looking for energies that might be left behind, and we gather that energy back up for you. Any sort of learnings, anything that will help you in your life now. And then we go up into spirit. We meet with your main guide. I help solidify those connections. And then I ask the questions you submitted. So now we can forget about a past life. Now I get to ask what you want to know about in your current life. So anything that may not have been made a connection during the session itself, we can ask directly. And the coolest thing is the answers come from your mouth. I love this. I love that we ask questions that you want to know, and you're literally channeling your own guide and soul and giving yourself the answers. It's such
Oh,
a beautiful process to go through. But it does take 2.5 to 3 hours. We're going to talk a little bit beforehand and then have the session. And then quite often there's, sharing some aha moments and puzzle pieces being put together and a little bit of questioning at the end. And then, we'll say goodbye, and I'll be around for, email support and things like that afterwards if you want it. Quite often a few months later, I'll hear from clients again saying, right after this and this, but now that I've been working on these things, look at all these changes in my life. So that's always exciting to hear for somebody later on how much just a single session can change their life. Yeah, but those are the two main offerings that I have on mine myself right now.
that's
And just a quick synopsis of what that would be like.
great. And do you typically work single sessions with people, or do you say generally you work with people 3 to 6 months, or what does that look like for you?
Most of the work is single sessions. Sometimes with the past life regression, I've definitely had repeat clients that want to come back because they have something else they want to explore in their world, if you will. The Akashic Soul Journey readings are definitely a one-time thing. The information doesn't change. This is a in-depth synopsis of what your soul's been up to, whether you're in a light body and spirit, in service to all of creation, what you do. You build up these skill sets as you do that that are innately in you that you can bring here. And we cover what you've been up to in your past lives, what's familiar, your strengths, your challenges. We get into the current life stuff. So these things don't change for you. So this is a one-time session. This isn't book a reading with me and then you have to keep coming month after month to really solidify this. Um, I'm always available by email, and I've never had anybody, that have felt like they needed an extra coaching call, but I would be available for something like that as well. But this is usually one of those things that just keeps kind of unfolding
Right.
because as we go through a transformation and we bring new awareness into our lives, you go through your reading once, you change. The next time you go through the reading again, you're a different person.
Hmm.
You pick up different nuances, different layers in here, and you transform again. And the same thing with a past life regression. It's kind of like having this lucid dream that you've written down. They're really easy to tap back into that energy and pick up different layers and nuances because you're a different person now. So that's something I love about this work as well, is just revisiting it. There's always something else to be gotten from it.
If someone's listening this far in your interview and they are a little bit skeptical, how would you how would you explain this, or how would you reassure them?
I've had people that have been skeptical with past life regression that there was even such a thing as past lives. And whether you believe in that or not, there's always things in the psyche. There are subconscious beliefs. And so if you don't want to believe in past lives, believe in your unconscious mind, the power of your subconscious as well, to deliver things in your psyche that are having an effect on you. There's a reason you're curious and you want to have a session. So I understand the skepticism and the belief. I'm kind of skeptical by nature. I've experienced so much now that I'm a little bit less skeptical. It's more about what's the truth for me? Where do I fit into this? Because I can allow my truth and someone else's truth to be different because, we're not all always agreeable all the time.
Mhm.
So that would be the big thing I would tell a skeptic is just allow the power of your curiosity. It's driving you to even pay attention to this right now to know that there's probably something here, even if it's just completely in your human world only. And there are no past lives. And there is no soul to co-create your life with. It's just you and your mind. There's something in your psyche that wants to be worked out, that wants to be more consciously brought into awareness, if you will.
Absolutely. They say we only use 10% of our brains. So if that's the case, there's so much more to access. So even if it's just on that level, not even just, but if it's on that level, it's still of incredible value. So that's fabulous. Maddie, let's take a little personal dive for a moment. How do your closest friends and colleagues describe you?
Ooh, I'm definitely the I'm definitely the goofball in the group. I am the super excitable, really passionate guy, and I can get passionate about, mainstream things like football or cooking and stuff, but I'm the one that's, I'm most passionate about, well, have you ever thought about why you're here? What your soul came to do, what your life lessons are? I want to go dive into the deep end. So the pleasantry conversation can quickly turn into the deep end with me.
I
That's where
love
I
it.
want, that's where I want to go and be. And so I'm definitely known as that guy. I've also been told that I embody the masculinity as it was intended to be,
Mm,
strong yet kind,
mm,
and that I have a deep love for humanity and the human experience, just right where we are, right on our respective paths of evolution. There is no ladder to climb to be better. It's just about experience and
mm,
what you and your soul take from that experience. And on the other side of an experience, whether it's pleasant or challenging, is growth. And I think that's what it's about. It's just we're here having the human experience. And I commend you for being brave to come here because it's beautiful, but it can be tough too.
mm. Absolutely. I love it. Masculine masculinity embodied in the way it's supposed to be. That's fabulous. And what do you do in your life to stay healthy?
I hit train at least 5, 6 times a week. That helps keep me sane and free of anxiety to physically move my body. Everything's connected, mind, body, and soul. So it does us no good to just be healthy in one area, to have a well-rounded health routine. So physically, it's hit training, and
What
working
is
with
HIT?
dumbbell weights and high intensity interval training.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I absolutely love that. I'll mix in a little bit of yoga, and there's always stretching involved, but I love the high intensity. I want to get a good sweat on and just
Mm,
work everything out and be so in my body and needed to be so in my body in that moment that my mind, my emotions are just kind of free.
mm,
All I can think about is the moves I'm doing and, is my form correct and stuff. So I'm really just free. And I love that. I do a lot of nature, a lot of hiking and walking. Often in our travels, we try to be somewhat near state parks or national parks so we can dip in anytime we can. I'm definitely the person that, I just see a basic bird, a sparrow, and I'm like, whoa, look at you. What are you up to, little thing? So I just love kind of catching myself and just with nature as it is. And this is what is good for the emotional side and the soul to just kind of be free and experience the other life around us. There's
mm,
so much of it if we're willing to just look at all of these living sentient beings here that aren't in human bodies, but are here sharing Earth with us right now. And mentally, I do a lot of reading. I'm always studying up on other people's experiences with past life regression, with soul energy, different theories, what people think. Yeah, so that's kind of my well-rounded, keeping my mind, my emotions, and my body in health.
That's wonderful. And what's something you're most grateful for in your life? I'm imagining you're pretty grateful for those things you just talked about, but what's something that you're really grateful for in your life?
This one's easy. This would be my wife, Emily. We run Soul Vibe Insights together. She does a lot more of the behind the scenes, and I do a little bit more of the outreach and stuff. But we met in 2004, and we were good friends for 7 years. And in all of my soul searching and everything I'd done, I hadn't really found a way to start putting the pieces together until I met Emily. And it
Mm.
was one of those moments where time slowed down. And as she walked by, her hair just slowly bounced. And I was just captivated, like, who is this person? My soul was leaping out of me to know them. I didn't have terminology for this at the time. I just remember the feeling. But in our 7 years of friendship and then realizing we weren't friends anymore, there was a lot more going on here. And now marriage for 10 years and dated for a few in there, like it has really, her support. She's a human design projector. So how she can guide and always knows the right questions to ask. She has accelerated my life, my growth so much, supported me through healing with my childhood traumas and breaking generational cycles within my family line of abuse. You know, it
Mm.
I credit her with a lot of that work that she's done with me and supporting me. And I get to do what I am most passionate about in life with my wife, with my best friend. This isn't just a solo adventure. So I am so grateful for her friendship, for her love, for her support, that we get to do these things together, that we have
Mhm.
each other to work with and bounce ideas off of. And we hear it from a lot of people. I wish I could have these conversations with my partner. Or I
Mm.
wish this. And we don't take that for granted. We are super grateful about that with ourselves, and know that when you're working with me, you're also at least behind the scenes working with Emily. So you're working with that divine masculinity and femininity. They've created something together. And I
Mm.
think that's beautiful and something the world needs so much more of, is
Mm.
to balance the masculine and feminine, to
Mhm.
have that like leveled respect for each other, if you
Mhm.
will. And we embody that and bring that into everything we do.
How beautiful and rare. I wish it
Yeah.
wasn't as rare, but it's so wonderful that you are experiencing that together. Maddie, are there any other offerings or services that you want to mention before we wrap up today?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that now that I've talked about Emily, we believe in developing intuitions for thriving soul mission. So we're putting together intuitive development courses. We're going to teach people how to read their own Akashic record. We've already put together a course, something that you need as a foundation in your life if you're going to develop your intuition, or really, I think, just operate in this world, is to have an energy clearing practice, a way to protect yourself spiritually, take charge of yours and your family's energetic well-being. So we've already put a course together there that's linked on my space, on Mind Myself profile right now. But we're developing courses. We're putting together a membership that I'll link to, so we can have all of our free resources in one place for somebody that just kind of wants to, I know before I developed my intuition and I could just listen to that call that that's the right person, they're the one for me. I would always explore checking out someone's podcast, blog, a free
Mhm.
resource, kind of dip my toe in the pool a little bit before I'd realize, yep, they're the one. So we want to kind of put everything together for folks. So when that is ready to go, there'll be a Soul Odyssey Sightseer membership that'll be linked in my profile here. We have a podcast and a blog that's full of tons of great resources that I've got linked there as well. So those would be the other things to tell people about, is a lot of exciting plans in the future for us, as well as, the weekly podcast and blogging.
Fantastic. Well, people will be able to find that in your profile. and link to your
Yes, absolutely.
website too. So, and that will continually be updated as you have more offerings. So that's fantastic. Maddie, as we close this conversation, what would you like to leave your listener with today?
Hmm. I I would challenge you to find awareness in your life.
Mm.
Even if it's just an awareness that something seems off. That is so valuable because now you know that you'd like something to be different. You're soul searching for something. That's a huge piece of awareness. And then you can take that and ask yourself tough questions or easy questions, depending on how you feel about your own inner exploration. But look for awareness wherever you can find it. And sometimes that's as you go through your daily life, you can feel a dissonance or uh, you're unagreeable with something you're experiencing. The wonderful question is, what is that all about? Hey, self, why am I experiencing this way? Start to ask yourself these questions. Um, this is what I did for myself, and I would just challenge you to look for awareness, to explore your own self as much as you can. Other people can be a guide on your journey. Like I would love to be a part of that, but ultimately, it's how you take the awareness and put the puzzle pieces together that creates the transformation in your life and creates the potential for healing and balancing karma and moving forward a different, uh, more excitable, more highest good you in your life. So I would just challenge you to be open to awareness, to look for it, to pay attention in your life.
Such a
Yeah,
good invitation for us all. Thank you, Maddie. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today. I hope many people find you through the Mind Myself website. Thank
it
you.
was a pleasure sharing. Thank you, Esther. I really enjoyed being with you today. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. And we're doing this because you matter.